You're welcome to another live session with Dr. Ish. Come, come. After this, don't worry, come. Yeah. So, class begins now. So, tell me if you were available for yesterday's class, what did you learn? What was your take home? And what are the questions that you have for me? What are the questions that you have for me based on what we taught yesterday? Remember, I spoke about three types of stories that you're supposed to tell to make your brand strategically positioned and profitable as well as unforgettable. So I'll just do a brief recap, and I'm not going to be so extensive or deep in the explanation because the live session is currently on my channel, so you can always go back to it to rewatch. But just for a brief summary before we move into today's topic, I spoke about three kind of stories that you should be telling. Sorry, I needed to be sure that the audio was doing well. So I'm speaking about like a summary, basically, of three stories that you should be telling. This was the topic we handled to an extent actively yesterday on my channel. And as you already know, I am a brand strategist and brand storyteller. I teach people how to tell their brand stories, position their brand strategically on social media. Now, not just YouTube, it can be any platform. Um, as also basically how to make that brand unforgettable and profitable. Of course, when we talk about profitable, we mean how this brand can also help you to earn income. You know how we do it. At the end of everything, having a brand that is not profitable makes no sense at all because we are looking at brand visibility, brand memorability, and then brand profitability. So those are the strategies that every brand needs to have in their corner. But to get to this point, it comes in stages. There are different stages for it. And the first stage is being able to tell your brand, understanding what your brand story is, your brand position. And this is just simply by being able to, first of all, ask yourself, what is your why? What is the value of your brand? What does your brand stand for? And what are the important things about your brand you think can other people? So basically, what I'm talking about to discover the pain points that you can solve. And pain points emanate as a result of you being able to categorically state this is your niche. For those that don't understand, your niche basically is the problem you can solve, the category of your own positioning. There are different kind of niches. There's the education niche, there's the AI, there's the technology, there's the science, there's the comedy, African folklore. So these examples on different platforms, but I'm just being they are still applicable to other. So you LinkedIn, for instance, where I've been positioned the past 42 years, there's nothing like African folk on LinkedIn because it's a professional platform. So people positioned there are positioned professional. Okay. So if we're coming down to a platform like YouTube, there are different niches on YouTube. As you're already aware, I'm sure you would have come across the comedy, the African folklore, the kiddies channel, the YouTube growth niche. Now, education niche is wide. The mathematics channels, you see things like the English channel, you see the science channels, all manner of channels. And of course, I'm also in the education niche and basically focused on brand strategy and storytelling, basically helping you to teach you how to make your brand profitable. So there are different kind of niches that a creator or a coach or a professional who intends their brand needs to take active note of. So this is one of the things that I help creators, coaches, and professionals to strategically position themselves. Now, in yesterday's class, we talked about the three different kind of stories that you are supposed to be able to tell to transform your brand from a forgettable brand to an unforgettable brand, a memorable brand, and the three kind of stories that you need to tell to turn your brand into a profit making brand. So profit making brand means that your brand is generating income on its own and you have consistent paying clients. And anybody that's positioned on social media that intends to monetize their skills, even if it's YouTube, for instance, we all know that the way YouTube is designed is you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So I mean that's pretty clear. But you see, it's monetizing your brand is not only just about that. Majority of us, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't want to make money. If you don't like money, please drop in the comment section so that I can know you don't like money. I like money, you like money, everybody likes money. But there are different ways people generate income. And one of the ways, because of the introduction of the digital age, that people can generate income is by monetizing your brand. Now, not everybody on YouTube, not everybody on LinkedIn, not everybody on TikTok, and not everybody on Instagram is concerned about monetizing their brand. But monetizing your brand and being able to tell good stories. Now, I'm not talking about, when I say stories, most people think storytelling is only about entertainment. No, storytelling is a combination of entertainment and strategic positioning. Now, when we talk about strategic positioning, we mean that at the end of the day, if you combine entertainment and combine, hi, Amid, pleasure meeting you. You're welcome to my channel. Hi. Where are you watching from, and what time of the day is it where you're watching from? Hey, Multani, pleasure meeting you. Pleasure meeting you. You're welcome to my channel. Where are you watching from? Abuja. That's great. So you're Nigerian. Great, 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 great. I am streaming from Lagos. Oh, Multani, England. 7:43. Okay. All right, so we're on the same timeline then, because this is also 7:43. A pleasure meeting you, and thank you for coming in. And if you have not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I am a brand strategist, a brand storyteller. I teach people how to monetize their brands. And when I mean monetizing brand, I'm not just talking about having the 4,000 watch hours and the 1K subscribers. Thank you, Yomi. Thank you. Sending you kisses. Oh, thank you. Do I? Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, yes. So I was talking about the live class I had yesterday, and I was trying to describe how people, everybody wants to be monetized on YouTube, and not just YouTube. I know several platforms are already monetizing creators. That's Facebook. Well, not Instagram. Nah, yeah, LinkedIn, nah, but then everybody's trying to position themselves. So I'm using YouTube as an example. We all know that the requirements for monetization on LinkedIn is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. But what if I tell you that if you position yourself properly on YouTube, you really do not need to have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers to monetize your brand? So this is it. uh Years back, people used to think when you talk about branding, you are referring only to big organizations and big companies. But now, because of the digital age, branding is also very important for individuals, most especially young creators, young YouTubers, and young channels. One of the things that is very important that you must always take note of is the kind of way you represent yourself and the kind of stories that you tell. So when I'm talking about stories, because I'm also a storyteller, so storytelling is not just about entertainment. It's not just about telling people, I went to church yesterday, or I went for a party last week, or I just no, it's not about entertainment or relevances. Brand storytelling is about strategically solving a pain point, solving a problem. For instance, I have a client who was struggling with her weight for a very long time. Of course, at the time I met her, she wasn't struggling with her weight anymore. But she needed to have another source of income. Now, somehow she had now transformed herself into a weight loss coach, but she was having a problem connecting with her audience. She would post just like I did. I remember when I started being active on social media, I would post Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Imagine posting consistently for 6 months, 7 days of the week. Thank you very much, Yomi. What a pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And don't forget to subscribe. So, I was posting just like my clients 7 days a week, posting every day consistently. But funny enough, I wasn't getting good feedback. I would say that I was getting only crickets. I wasn't getting any response. I wasn't getting any feedback. The reason being that my content, hi Yomi, hi. The reason I wasn't getting any feedback was because my content was not connecting with my audience. So when we talk about audience on social media or digital age, we have what we call target audience. So you have to forgive me because I'm a teacher, and I like to always, break things down. So if I sound too formal, or if there's any part of the explanation that is not clear, please just drop a comment for me in the comment section, and I can always, break it down simply. So yes, going back to my client. So she battled with her weight for like 4 5 years, and decided to evolve into a weight loss coach. But like me, she was consistently posting and not getting good feedback, and she wasn't getting clients. Remember what our branding strategy is all about? It's all about a profitable brand, an unforgettable brand that materializes and gives you income. Now, before I forget, one of the things I was trying to explain earlier before going into my client story is to explain that you can actually monetize your brand without having 4,000 subscribers, sorry, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. You just need to package your brand to become unforgettable by telling the right stories. And these right stories is what I explained in my live class yesterday. The three parts of this story is: one, your origin story; two, the problem story; and three, the proof story. Origin story being the reason why you have your brand. What is your why? The problem story is excuse me, I had a heavy dinner, sorry. So the problem story is you've been able to explain the problem that your brand can solve. So when I say brand, I'm talking about your business. And then we move on to the proof story. The proof story basically talks about the transformation that you can promise your clients, the transformation that you can show them you can do. So for my weight loss client, my client that is a weight loss coach that was having problem telling the right story that will make her brand profitable, like I said, she was posting consistently, but she wasn't closing deals. She wasn't getting clients. She was spending so much time, morning to night, and then she became frustrated. So, how did we solve her problem? First of all, she needed to create a brand story. Now, remember, we are all about profitability for the brand. And this can only happen when you're telling the right story. Because now, because people have so much smaller attention spans, so everybody is swiping on social media. I have quite a number of people that have come into the live class, they've swiped and they've moved on. It's a normal thing because the attention span on social media is so small. So you need to be able to get the attention of your target audience while speaking. Of course, even at that, not everybody is going to understand or gravitate towards your niche. Remember, we spoke about the niche earlier when we started the class. So, moving on to my client, she now had to create the origin story, the problem story, and the proof story. The origin story, her own origin story, was an explanation as to how she was battling with her weight, the challenges she was having losing weight, and the negative outcomes in that weight loss program. While trying to lose weight, she had blood sugar spikes, just like I also experienced, recently. She was finding it difficult to shed weight. She didn't have enough to start to have a constant or consistent gym subscription. So she was facing all these challenges as somebody trying to lose between 10 kg to 15 kg because she was obese and her life was threatened. Now, this she coped with for a certain amount of years. Eventually, she was able to have what they call a breakthrough moment. Now, that breakthrough moment led to the transformation. So, I was able to take her through the origin story, the problem story, origin story being why did she start a weight loss brand, a wellness brand, right? And because because she was able to start a wellness brand, the reason for starting a wellness brand, which is her why, which is the purpose I always talk about. Remember yesterday's class, I spoke about ensure that you have a reason why, a purpose, because even when the clients are not coming in, even when you're unable to close the deals, even when you're unable to sell and make money, it is the purpose and the why that keeps you in the business. Now, I always tell my students that any brand that is not profitable is a hobby. Any skill or talent you have that does not have the capacity to make income for you or money for you is a hobby. It is just a hobby. It is not yet, you can't call it a skill yet per se. It might be a skill, but if it's not profitable, it's just a hobby. Because I hear people say, "Oh, when you have a passion for a particular thing, you should start it into a business." Yes, but if that passion, if that skill you have cannot be translated into a business, then it is just a hobby. Now we're talking about helping creators know how to use their talent and their skills to make money, to have income. And this can only be done if you first of all have a brand story, an origin story as to why. So if you're into the AI niche, if you're into the education niche, if you are into the African folklore niche, if you're into the food documentary or the movie niche, the first question you ask yourself in creating a profitable brand or a brand that can give you income is why? Why are you doing AI? Why are you doing technology? Why are you doing the food business? There has to be a reason why, an origin story. So for my client who was a weight loss coach or who is a weight loss coach, the reason why she started her own wellness brand was because um, she had a challenge with her health. She was now able to overcome the challenge with her health and decided to help other housewives and busy moms to, of course, those are two different niche, but she was able to successfully combine them. So she had housewives and all that, be able to help them to shed weight because that was the category she was into previously. So the thing about it is, if you have a pain point that you are able to overcome, then it is easier to position yourself using storytelling and brand positioning to get other people to understand you. The reason is, if you've struggled with your weight, if you struggle with your health, or you've struggled with trying to get a job, and you start speaking about it, you will always come across people. Hi, Yomi. Hi. You will always come across people that have gone through exactly that same pain point. And this is where your origin story really matters. If you do not have an origin story, trust me, everybody has an origin story. Like I said yesterday, I've had clients that tell me, "Oh, Dr. Ish, um, I don't know how to tell stories, or I'm not good at telling stories." And I always state, nobody, and I mean nobody, was born a storyteller. People just learn how to strategically tell the right stories depending on the problems they want to solve. I always reiterate that in storytelling, in brand storytelling, in business storytelling, you must tell relevant stories to your niche, relevant stories to the problem you can solve. So, for instance, we have the likes of, because I always like giving examples, we have celebrities like global celebrities like Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. We have Nelson Mandela. We have quite a number of celebrities that are very, very popular and people are endeared to them. I can also talk about, may his soul rest in peace, the late Michael Jackson. Now, what is the reason why these personalities are always so much larger than life? Apart from the obvious accomplishments that they've had, it is also worthy of note that their brands stand out because they have what is called the differentiating factor. That thing that makes them different from the next person. That thing that makes them different from the next person is the differentiating factor. For instance, you could have five musical artists that sing and dance, but one thing will make one of them stand out from the rest. The same thing, you can have five people also teaching brand strategy and storytelling just like I do. But one thing would make us stand out from each other and make attract the right kind of people to our brand. And this is what makes some brands more profitable than other brands. All right. Remember, I will always have to bring you back to base. The essence of why we do this, the essence of why I teach and I coach is to help your brand become profitable, to strategically position your brand. Now, another major problem many people have in making their brand profitable and telling the right kind of stories or discovering their own brand story is because they are positioned in niches that are technically not good for them. I'll give an example. Say, for instance, as a young YouTuber or you have a young channel and you decide you want to start making income from YouTube or you want to join the YPP program, all right, the YouTube partnership program, and you make some inquiry and you find out that, oh, the African folklore niche makes so and so amount of money, or the AI tech niche makes so and so amount of money. Majority of the times people go into niches because they believe that that's the profitability is the reason why they should be there. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not saying it is wrong to join a niche because of the money it can make. If you decide you want to become an AI specialist, yeah, I mean, there are 1,001 reasons why you could decide to be inside a particular niche. So, what are or what is the kind of story that sells? The kind of stories that sells usually start from the pain points. The pain point is always the beginning of everything. Remember, I have been talking so much and emphasizing so much about the origin story. The origin story also is connected to the pain points. All right. So let's go back to the basics here. These are some of the things I previously mentioned yesterday. You can also check it in my live class. And don't forget, as you're coming in, please let me know where you're watching from, what time of the day it is. I am a personal brand strategist and storyteller, and I teach you how to position your brand to be profitable within the next 180 days. So if you have a brand that is not profitable, you've been on YouTube for a long while, you've been unable to discover your niche, you're not sure of where you belong, you're not sure of what your strengths are, you're not sure of how to leverage on the strength to be able to make your brand profitable. And like I said, you do not need to have 1,000 followers and 4,000 watch hours to start earning. I said it, and this is the truth. You can confirm from other big YouTubers and other people. I mean, you can use Google as your friend. You can do the research and find out that yes, what I'm saying is actually true. So, moving on to the income strategy and the brand storytelling strategy. What is the pain points you've gone through, and what is the transformation period you've been able to achieve, and who are the people you can help to achieve that same transformation? You see, the thing about brand storytelling or creating a profitable brand is that you are able to communicate your shift from the problem you have faced to the transformation period. Remember, I talked about the origin story, the problem story, and the proof story. You see, these three concepts are all you need to make your brand profitable. Forget about what any other person says, because each person's destiny or each person's path or each person's talents or skills is always different from the next person. So you have to be very careful when you're positioning your brand, not to be sidetracked by what other people are doing. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't learn from people that have been there before you. Don't get me wrong. And I'm also not saying that you should not aim to be better or watch what other people are doing. Thank you so much, Yomi. I didn't know you're still here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you're enjoying the class. I hope you're learning something. Please feel free to ask me any questions in any area you want me to speak about, and any part you're feeling a bit confused, please let me know. Thank you very, very much. I am very grateful that you are here with me. It's a very, very big motivation. Okay. So, many a times people get confused about their brand because they are trying to be like other people. You see, the thing about brand storytelling is, first of all, accepting who you are. That is the truth, I kid you not. Many of my clients that have had problems positioning a brand is because they're trying to be like other people. For instance, let's say I'm a very good musician. Let's say I know how to sing. It would not, hi Yomi, it would not make any sense for me to wake up tomorrow and say, I want to be like Davido. Why would I want to be like Davido? My story, my brand story definitely is not exactly the same with his. Or if I say, okay, my role model is Oprah Winfrey, I love her so much and everything she stands for, but I know without a fact, I cannot be Oprah because I don't speak like her, I don't look like her, and my background story is not like hers. So this just simply means that my origin story will be different from hers. My brand story will be different from hers. And when we bring it down to religion or science, no two people have exactly the same genes. No two people have exactly the same fingerprint. So God has created us differently. So the idea is for us to embrace our individuality and tell our brand stories according to our background. So it would be really strange for me to talk about my pain points or the problems I can solve. For instance, this channel, because I have other channels on YouTube, but this channel is dedicated to helping creators discover their niche, discover their passion, discover their strength, and package them and present themselves in a way that is attractive and unforgettable to their target audience. In turn, they earn money from it. Okay. So I wouldn't now say that because this is what I do, I also want to go ahead on YouTube and start copying other brand strategies. No. However, I can pick one or two things that they do better than I do and double down on it with my own flavor and my own vibe and make it better. So, this is one of the things that creators and coaches need to learn how to do in positioning themselves. Now, what this also does is it makes you better. Yes, yes. You're welcome. My sister's a house. Welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, so I was talking about ensuring that when you discover your niche, because one of the things that this channel was practically made for is to help creators learn how to tell their origin stories better. Every creator positioned on YouTube has to go through these three phases: the origin phase, the problem phase, and the transformation phase. If you're unable to communicate your origin phase, now, this origin phase basically talks about your why, your purpose. Why are you on YouTube? I'm going to use YouTube because this is the platform that we're using for this class. Why are you on YouTube? What purpose do you have on YouTube? What goal do you have on YouTube? What problems can you solve on YouTube? Now, this is specific for creators. If you're a professional, the question would be, What is your why? Why are you working in that bank? Why are you working in that insurance company? Now, obviously, you part of the answers will be, I want to earn money, right? I want to make money, I want to make dollars, I want to make millions of naira, I want to be rich. Good. But if your origin story and your passion is not in sync with where you are currently, then you probably will not be able to stay in that place for long. And this is where burnout comes in. This is where loss of interest comes in. And that is why, as a brand strategist, I always advise people to get things straight. For instance, my client who is, sorry, not was, who is in the wellness industry, her pain point for about 3 years was being able to lose weight. She was having problems shedding weight. And because of this inability of being able to shed weight, after a while, she had what I call, of course, this was the problem. Now, the origin is that she was suffering weight gain for years. This is her origin story. Now, moving to the problem story is that the weight gain was hit on her for 2 to 3 years. She struggled in losing weight because she had hormonal imbalance and discovered along the line that she was suffering from PCOS. So, for the women in the house, you understand what I mean. And so, I'm so sorry if you don't understand. You may need to Google it because this is not a health class. Now, after moving to the problem story, we move into the transformation. She was now able to discover health, get health experts and all that who helped her nutrition, her workout plan, and eventually she started losing weight. This was the transformation she got. Now, this journey led her into the wellness industry. And moving into the wellness industry was what now helped her to start making income. Now, after at a point, she was posting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which I also did at a time on LinkedIn. Now, this same mistake also happens on YouTube. So we see creators who post 7 days a week. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not against consistency, and I'm not saying that as a storyteller or a brand strategist, it is wrong for you to post daily. No. However, we all know that the content must have value and impact, or else you're just going to lose your audience. So the important thing I'm trying to make you note here in that my client's story is that when she was posting consistently, she wasn't closing deals, she wasn't getting clients. And not because she didn't know what she was doing, but that emotional connection in her content was missing. So when it comes to branding and positioning, if you lose out on the emotional connection, then closing deals and converting the people that are coming to you for, because like I said at the beginning of this class, you don't need to have 1,000 followers or subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to start earning money. Remember what this channel is about is storytelling, brand strategy, and income generation. Just give me a minute, please. My battery is running low, so I need to have this plugged here. The heat here is something else. I need to. So sorry, I needed to wipe my face a bit. It's not easy to stand and talk for long. Yes, going back to my client who is a wellness brand coach. And it's not just about her, it's also about many people who are let's be real. Let's be real. If you don't have a profile on social media now and you're looking to make extra income for whatever you do, that may be very challenging because social media now is not just for entertainment alone any longer. People now use social media as proof to verify your authenticity, your originality, and your integrity, probably, and your individuality. Because basically, when you're positioned on social media, the stories you tell on social media, the kind of content you share on social media, says a lot about the kind of person you are. So using YouTube, for instance, for those that are creators, the word SEO would not sound strange to you or new to you. There is a reason why it is available for usage. There is a reason why there's so much emphasis that when you're using SEO, key strategic words, it helps to position your brand so that people can easily trace you and find you. So let me go back a bit, using LinkedIn for an instance, because I am also an influencer on LinkedIn. And I remember, as at 2022, if you were to type out my full name on Google, it was like I was a ghost. I didn't exist. You just wouldn't see anything about me online. And prior to this, I had been in the corporate world for almost 20 years. I mean, I'd worked in the bank for about 18, 19 years before I left and moved to um, asset management for 3 years. I'm still in asset management as well. So I also have a finance channel that takes care of strictly finance. Remember when we talk about niche, when you are multi-talented or you have multiple things you like, do you feel you have strength or capacity in, it's best advisable to share them in different channels or different pages so you don't confuse your audience. So going back to what I was saying, now, when, as of 2022, if you typed out my name, you probably don't want to see anything about me. And you can try this. Please try this. You can just type your name on Google, either whatever it is you're known as on YouTube, or whatever you're known as on Instagram, or whatever you're known as on Facebook, or whatever you're known as on LinkedIn. So of course on YouTube, we know you can use all manner of pseudonames, but on LinkedIn you have to use your real name. That is part of the community rules there. And on YouTube, of course, when you're signing up, there are also back end registrations that you do that use your real name. But I mean, whatever name your handle name is, you can type it out and see if there's a next what level of searchability you have. And this is part of the brand positioning that I always teach people how to do. So, going back to the story aspect, so my client was always posting 7 days a week, telling all manner of, she would drop facts, figures. Do you know in 1952, women of so age, she was always dropping percentage. Everything was strictly mathematical. And when I did an audit of her page, first of all, her headline was in a mess. It wasn't a true representation of who she was. And yes, LinkedIn is a professional platform, and even YouTube as well is also a good place for professionals, creators, content creators to position themselves. But you must understand that in these present times, and because attention span is so small, there has to be something that attracts or endears your audience to you. Now, that thing is what we call the human connection. The human connection is just one thing: storytelling. Yes, yes, I hear you. Storytelling is entertainment. No, it's no longer entertainment. And this is why the big brands like the Coca-Colas, um the Apples, the Samsung, the Rolls Royce, I mean, all the top brands you can imagine now apply storytelling to their advertisements and to selling their brand. If you have not noticed it, please take your time. Any advert you see, they apply the principles of storytelling. And what are these principles? They categorically tell you or show you, because there's the visual storytelling and there's the written storytelling. Everything combines together is what people are now using to build their brand. So visual or the written alone. Like on LinkedIn, it's just the written. People hardly use videos, although they use pictures and carousels. But on YouTube, it's just video, just videos like 100%. Now, the essence of this is to tell you that if you have not started applying the principles of storytelling, please, you need to start doing that now. And how can this be done? Going back to these big names I mentioned previously on how they apply storytelling, I'll give you an example. If you look at a brand like Coca-Cola, every Christmas or sometimes during festive seasons, let's use Christmas, they always have adverts that show Father Christmas. Now you see Father Christmas visiting families. Now what this means is that it signifies that the Coca-Cola brand is connected to family. Do you understand what I mean? The Coca-Cola brand has decided to position themselves as a family brand. So ask yourself, how do people interpret your brand? How do people interpret your brand? Is your brand profitable or not profitable? Is your brand the type that people swipe past and then not even remember that they had any interface with you? These are the questions you need to ask. So now, if big companies that have been in existence for 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, and obviously are making so much money, apply the rules of storytelling to advertise themselves. And you see, part of this thing is what a few friends of mine call shameless marketing. Now, when they say shameless marketing, it's more or less like being able to put yourself consistently out there for people to know what you do, because you're not the only one doing what you do. But I can tell you without a fact that if you want to stand out from other creators, you must be able to apply the principles of storytelling and brand positioning. Now, storytelling helps your brand to be positioned in a very superb way. All you need to do is to tap into your origin story. Why do I keep emphasizing on tapping into the origin story? Because your origin story is always different from other people's origin story. Even if you have two siblings, the same father, the same mother, their stories will always have a slight difference, a slight interpretation, difference in interpretation. And this is why leveraging on your origin story is it, because our experiences are always different. For instance, if I have two clients who are in the wellness industry, one's experience will always have a slight difference to the other. For instance, two women trying to lose 10 kg each. This is just an example. And one has a tough time losing belly fat, and the other doesn't have a problem losing belly fat, but has a problem losing arm fat. Now, this means that they are both struggling with their weight, but in different variations. One can easily lose from her tummy, but can't lose from her arm. One can't lose from her tummy, but loses from her arm. Now, of course, there's so many variables here connected. We have the genetics, we have the lifestyle, and so many other things. The reason why I'm breaking this down is so that you can actually relate it and apply it to what you do. So when I hear things like, oh, I don't know how to tell a story, I'm not a good storyteller. Nobody was born a storyteller. We learn how to tell stories. We learn it. I learned it, and the Oprah Winfrey's learned it, Steve Jobs learned it. Everybody that I know that is up out there, Richard Branson, whatever the big wigs are, they learned how to tell their brand story. I'm not going to go pick up my neighbor's brand story and interpret it as mine. So this is where confusion comes in, because your passion and your origin story are interrelated. So if you are moving into a niche because you hear it is profitable, fantastic, good. However, does your origin story align? Does your brand value align? Does your brand proposition align? Does your brand propositioning align? Does your brand strategy align? And do you have the right origin story here? We go back again. The origin story, like I said, is what is that problem that you can solve, and what is that transformation you can promise your audience you can give them. Now, storytelling is not only about entertainment. Remember I said it's a combination of entertainment and transformation. which is simply discovering the pain points. Now, I know that you may feel, why is she on and on about this pain point? Because it is the sole foundation of what you can do. If your channel is basically a comedy, let's say a comedy channel, obviously, what do you think a comedy channel can, what is the pain points a comedy channel can take care of? Jokes, right? Yes. Jokes for who? What kind of people? So there will be comedy channels for elderly people. There will be comedy channels for Gen Zs that they can easily relate. So there are different reasons why. There's a particular reason why we have what we call a niche. A niche is just to guide you, to help you to know exactly where to place yourself and the kind of people you should be helping to solve their problems. So if I go back to the wellness brand, the example I was giving, if as a wellness brand you are in the business of helping people lose weight, what kind of people? So we have the category of the housewives. That is a niche. We have the category of the professional woman. That is a niche. We have another category of middle-aged women. That is a niche. We have the category of nursing mothers. That is women that have just had babies. So this, I've just mentioned 4 different niches in the wellness industry under the weight loss category. So this is the reason why once you can identify the niche you belong to, the next step is to create your brand story. Remember, your brand has to be profitable or else it is a hobby. Any hobby that cannot be monetized, at the end of the day, you may lose one of the core reasons why you're, because at the end of the day, if part of the primary reasons you have built a brand is to be able to monetize it, then you need to be able to discover the brand story, because it's that brand story you're going to use to build the human connection to start connecting with people. Just a minute. I'm so sorry, it's hot. The weather has been so hot, so find myself, and if I put on the fan, most likely you may not be able to hear me clearly. Yes. So find out what your origin story is. Your origin story is your purpose. Your origin story is your why. Yes, I know you may have started out because you wanted to make money, you wanted to have an extra source of income. I mean, I've been there too. It is not too late for you to sit down and define what your origin story is. Everybody has an origin story. You may not be conscious of it, but I want to bring it to your consciousness. Go back to your drawing board and create an origin story, because this origin story is what you will leverage on to build a profitable brand. I personally created my own brand story, and I'll give an example. While growing up in the corporate world, I mean, my positioning on LinkedIn basically is to help female leaders. I'm just using that as an example. Female leaders to gain global visibility and build profitable brands. Now, the main focus here, the pillars here are global visibility, profitable brands. Now, when I'm defining what global visibility is basically helping them to be able to come out of their shells, to stop hiding and speak their truth. And not just speak their truth, speak to the problems they are good at solving. Now, being in the corporate world for that long, I came across so many women that are good in tech, good in sales, good in education, good in so many areas, but they were all hiding. And I realized that there were so many reasons why they were hiding. Some were hiding due to culture. Some were hiding because of fear. What are they going to think about me? If I come out, they're going to laugh at me. They're going to make fun of me. Different reasons why people decide. I mean, this is the reason why we have faceless channels on YouTube, right? Some people don't want their faces to show. They don't want to be seen. That's perfect. Whatever works for you. But when we're talking about global visibility, faceless channels have also given people the ability to also position themselves and tell their stories online without you necessarily seeing their face like you're seeing mine. However, it's also an opportunity to monetize your talent. Remember, I said any talent you can't monetize is a hobby. That's all it is. So when you go about saying, oh, I'm very good at playing drums. Yes, you probably play drums Monday to Sunday, but can you monetize that skill? If you can't monetize that skill, then playing drums is a hobby. That is just the obvious truth. Now, to convert that skill into income, you first of all have to be able to create a niche for yourself, or find a niche that you can position yourself with that skill. Once you're able to do that, the next step is to create the 3-tier brand story, which is the origin of why you started playing drums. Why? What do you enjoy about it? What's the purpose behind it? Now, trust me, any story you're going to tell, someone out there has experienced almost the same thing that you have experienced. Once this is done, the next step after creating your origin story is to talk about the problem story. I spoke about this yesterday. I'm still giving a brief because everything is interrelated. Once you talk about your problem story, voila, the next thing is to talk about how you overcame the problem. So let's say, for instance, my own problem was visibility. I was scared to come out. I didn't think that I needed to be seen on social media. I've never had a problem teaching, training, and coaching. I've also never had a problem holding a microphone and standing on stage, but I had a problem with being seen on social media because I felt, in the corporate world, I was doing so well. I was quite popular in my own space, which was in the banking industry, and I figured I don't really need to impress anyone or tell anybody what I have accomplished. They should know. But the truth is, what is not seen cannot be explained. People cannot know what you can do. People cannot know what you can help them achieve if you don't talk about it, if you don't write about it, if you don't do videos about it. And this is where the beauty of content creation comes in. Using your content creation to position yourself, all you need to do is to tell the right kind of stories. Origin story again, problem story, and the proof story. So finally, moving on to the transformation aspect, which is the third aspect, which is what I also use in making income. I've had clients that have paid me as much as 7 figures to show them, to teach them how to position themselves. Of course, because I do ghostwriting as well. So I help them to write their content. I help them to write their books, and I write it in their voice. We'll have another class for that. How to find your voice, how to find your writing voice, how to find your speaking voice, and how to present confidently. Because without saying YouTube, you know how it is, more and more videos, and so many people are so shy and are scared of messing themselves up in public. Going live, just as I'm doing, is not an easy feat. So many people run away from it because they don't know how they're going to appear to the outside world. So moving on. And so at the end of the day, when I realized that I couldn't hide anymore, people didn't know, like I said, 2022, when I typed out my name, nothing came out. I was just like a ghost, and I'm like, what? After how many years of working so hard, and none of my accomplishments are showing. So I had a coach, my social media coach, who trained me, and I said, all right. I didn't think I had the energy for YouTube, so I said, okay, Instagram, no, I felt like people dance too much there. TikTok, no, too much of children. YouTube, not bad, but I felt I didn't have the equipment. So, excuse me, I thought I didn't have the equipment. So the next thing was like, okay, let's go to LinkedIn, because I don't want to show my face. I don't want to come out in public. No. Let's go start there. And I started writing, and I started doing content creation 7 days a week. I was writing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 6 months, I never missed a day. Sickness, in health, I was always writing. But after I had gained that level of consistency, by the 3rd, 4th month, there was a problem. I would drop a post, only 5 people will like it, 2 people will like it, 1, or maybe my colleagues that I threatened to like my content.
And I felt like, okay, so I'm not emotionally connecting to the people I am writing to. Trust me, writing is more difficult than doing live sessions or video, because with video people can easily connect with you. With writing, oh goodness, if people don't like what you've written, in seconds they're out. And so of course that was the lesson for me. There was, no matter how much you are consistent, if you're unable to connect on a human deep level with your audience, you cannot convert them. And one of the conversion tools I'll share with you, which is a sales tip, is what we call giving them what they call a lead magnet. So a lead magnet can be a free PDF on 3 steps to grow your brand, a free PDF on how to start your own AI class, a free PDF on how to start your own YouTube channel, free. Basically, that's why they're called lead magnets. So when you share this, you create also what we call an email list. So I'll speak about that later, because I don't want to digress out of the topic for today, which is basically teaching you how to use your brand to make income the same way I did. I would say that in the past year and a half, I've made over 3 to 4 million naira as a content creator on one platform alone, and that is LinkedIn. I'm yet to start making that kind of money on YouTube, but I want to tell you that it is possible and I'm on the way there. And the reason why I would not come here to tell you a fib of what I've not achieved is because though all social media platforms are for the same purpose, but they have the rules are basically the same, but they have different strategies. This strategy you apply for Instagram is not the same strategy you apply for YouTube, and the strategy you apply for YouTube is not the same strategy you apply for LinkedIn. They all operate differently. Okay, so yes, back to it. So create a lead magnet, something free, use it to start generating emails. But this is strictly sales, so I won't go so deep into it. We'll have other sessions where I will talk sales, and of course I intend to have a poll where you will tell me what topic you want me to talk about. But if you already have something you want me to talk about, if it's sales, if it's storytelling, if it is branding, please drop in the comment section and I'll do something on it, and I'll also inform you when the live class will come or hold for that. Now, back to the origin story, the problem story, and the proof story. Always make sure that you have a transformation you promise your audience. Now, when I'm saying transformation, I'm not talking about telling them you will help them something impossible that even you cannot deliver. If your plan is to use your channel to monetize your channel. Now, when I mean monetize, I'm not talking about only the 4,000 watch hour and the 1K subscribers kind of monetization. I'm talking about you selling using this platform. Then you have to listen carefully for the next 2 to 3 minutes. Go learn how to write a book. It's easy. ChatGPT can help you do that, but you have to be able to give it the right prompt and right instruction. If you need help there, you can always drop a comment for me and I can guide you on what to do, or you can come for one of my classes. Now, another thing you can also do to earn income using your story, which is your origin story, your problem story, and your solution story, is to create offers. When you create offers, so there are different kind of offers. We have what we call the low ticket offers and the high ticket offers. So depending on where you're watching from, so low ticket offers, for instance, me being a Nigerian, I would say that low ticket offer starts from as low as 2,000 naira to 10,000 naira. Those are the categories of low ticket offer. So you can convert that to dollars, whatever that comes to. That's a low ticket. So it could be $5, it could be $3, it could be $8, $10, $20. However, high ticket offers are more expensive. The reason why I'm explaining this to you, though this class is not primarily for sales, is to explain how these stories can make your brand profitable. Because at the long run, the focus is to use your brand to be able to earn income. Now, writing a book is an option, and creating digital products is an option. I'm also going to be talking about creating digital products on this channel. Maybe that will be next week, but I need to put one or two things together, because sometimes I like these classes being really simplified. I may have a pre-recorded class where I teach you and show you on the system how to create these products, but they're pretty easy, especially if you have ChatGPT. The only thing is the basics and the foundation need to be there, which is the question of why are you doing what you are doing? What is the purpose of what you are doing? Who are the people that you can help in a certain area? So ask yourself, as you are a YouTuber, young channel holder, or even a top creator, what are the problems that I can solve? Why am I so interested in solving these kind of problems? I always talk about the wellness coach that I was training, whose problem was that she couldn't shed weight but was able to shed weight after 2 years of struggle. And now she has a formula where she can help people to shed weight within 2 weeks. That is the transformation she promises her audience. So the transformation is helping you to lose weight within what? 2 weeks. Awesome. So if you can find a way to first of all find out what your brand story is, which is your origin story, why you are going in. So if you come on YouTube, you're a YouTuber, you have a channel, why are you doing this particular thing? It makes you happy, it puts you in a happy space, it helps your mental state of mind. That is your why. Whatever it is, however silly it may sound, that why is also someone else's purpose. It's also someone's why. Once you document that down, the next step is to go into the problem story. The problem story, as I spoke about in class yesterday, is what is that pain point? Say, for instance, you are prone to depression. Now, I'm not saying you, but just an example. So say you are prone to depression and you find out that watching anime keeps you excited, keeps you happy. Or say you are a wellness coach and you find out that every time you gain weight, you're able to lose the weight with some strategies within a week or two. So that is problem phase moving into transformation phase. Anime keeps you excited. It takes you from depression to happiness, weight loss, struggle, and within 2 weeks you can move and lose 5 to 10 kg. Or you're AI specialist and this particular thing you have, anybody who uses it will learn how to use AI within 24 hours. Or you're a scientist and anybody that applies this will be able to heal their gut health or stop liver disease or kidney disease. Everybody has a problem they can solve. Once you can discover your origin story and the problem you can solve, the next step is the transformation phase. What timeline can this transformation happen? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 1 month? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Once you can do that, then the next is to package everything. But if with all this you're still having difficulty in crafting your brand story, your brand tagline, I'm talking about setting up your channel to a point where you have your own brand colors. Yes, I remember I talked about brand colors yesterday. Some people don't even know that they should have a brand color. Yes, this particular channel, if you check my banner, my brand color is red, just like my glasses, red and a bit of some other colors, because I love colors a lot. I wasn't like that a few years back. I'll share that story some other time. My finance channel, my brand color is also a mixture of a lot of things. But if you take a look at my banners, this particular channel, my banners, the AI versions I always use of myself for my banners are always wearing purple. Yes, so a bit of red, a bit of purple are my brand colors. Now on my finance channel, all my flyers, my thumbnails, the AI version of me is always wearing green, because for me green signifies wealth, it signifies prosperity. Now if you look at my other channels, I'm also developing and growing their brand colors. So this is something you also need to. So if at any point in time you need help in developing your brand story, rearranging your channel, repurposing your channel so that it's a brand, and teaching you how to create your own lead magnets and have other products you can sell, even if you're not monetized, or you're monetized and you want to make more income on YouTube as a young creator, feel free to drop a comment for me in the comment section or reach out to me via email, and then we can have a further discussion. So thank you so much for being with me. It was such an awesome time having you here. We're having another class tomorrow. It's already been scheduled. Don't forget to drop a comment for me, like, and of course subscribe, and let me know if there's any other thing you want me to talk about or teach you about in relation to sales, in relation to storytelling, and in relation to brand strategy. I remain Dr. Ish, your one and only brand strategist and storyteller, and I'll see you in class tomorrow. Ciao.